All right, Brian, let's step up into the 21st century of corn broadleaf control here. Forget about those 30, 40-year-old products. Let's use something new.
What are you talking about? What's wrong with Banville? I can use Banville at like a pint for maybe $4 an acre. It's dirt cheap. Why would I not do that?
Sure, you can use something cheap, but you could also use something a little bit safer for your crop with a little more flexibility of timing.
Now, when you talk about safety, Darren, we're joking around a little bit here, because when I got done with college, it was 1990, and it doesn't seem like it's been 20 years ago, but it has already. And back then, you know what the most popular corn broadleaf combination was? It was Banville 2,4-D. I just can't believe guys did that to their corn. I mean, the 2,4-D is so hard on it, and Banville's hard enough on it. But yeah, that's what the most popular combination was. So guys wonder why their corn yields so much better today. I say, well, you're not using 2,4-D and Banville anymore. That's the first step.
But the other thing is just which weeds can you control? And now there are a lot of different options out there that are actually stronger on certain weed species and even later in the season. You don't have to get out there and spray when the corn's just popping through the ground in order to get decent weed control. You can wait just a little bit if the weeds aren't up yet.
Oh yeah, but you don't want to wait too long, because here's the thing. Everybody says, oh, we can kill great big weeds now. We got Roundup, we got Status, we got Callisto or Laudus, all these great products. Yes, you can, but let's keep in mind, if you have even little weeds out in the field, that's going to start hurting your yield. So the point is, get a pre-emerge herbicide on, then spray your post-emerge herbicide relatively early, and then count on the corn to grow well and shade out the rest of the weeds. Remember that crop canopy is the very best weed killer there is.
Well, that's the whole key, is getting to crop canopy. So there are a number of different ways you can do it. Personally, I like to try and be as safe to that crop as I can. I like to look for products that really don't have drift issues. I like products that you can spray whether the corn's 4 inches tall or 12 inches tall. That's what I want. I want to have some flexibility because corn can grow pretty fast. So the products that I like, my favorites are Laudus and Callisto, Impact. They actually turn the weeds white. I like seeing that out there. I like having that visual effect that, hey, I know that weed's gonna die. Now it has no color to it anymore. That thing's gone.
But here's the problem I've got with Laudus, Callisto, and Impact is they don't kill wild buckwheat very well. They don't do a real great job on Canada thistle. And there are a handful of other weeds too that I just prefer Status. So the way I kind of always approach this is if a guy walks into my office and says, hey, I've got all kinds of weeds to kill. I don't even know what all I've got out there, but it's a disaster. I'll tell them, hey, you want to use Status in that particular case because I know that has activity on virtually every broadleaf out there. Plus, it's got some activity on grass, which Callisto, Laudus, and Impact have activity on grass too.
Well, they've got more activity on grass than what Status does.
No way.
Absolutely.
No, I disagree 100%.
Absolutely. You're wrong again, Brian. Man, we're going to have to talk about this here later.
But here's the thing. It doesn't really matter because almost everybody is tank mixing one of these products with Roundup or with Ignite. And Ignite and Roundup are both pretty decent on grass.
Well, that's true, but here's where the challenge gets, and I understand your love for Status, that it has this broad spectrum of control.
I just love killing weeds. I just want weeds dead. I want all of them dead, and the worst weed problem we've got on our farm right now is wild buckwheat. Well, I mean, Callisto, Laudus, and Impact, they're weak in wild buckwheat. What do you want me to do?
It's fine to have that as one of your sub-goals, but your big goal is you want to have great yields. Yeah. And for me, I talk to farmers all the time that say, well, you know, I've got corn that's about this tall right now, and what can I spray on it? And I say, okay, well, it may be that tall today, but it's going to be this tall tomorrow and this tall the next day. So you want to make sure that you're picking products that you're going to be able to use for a few days. You don't want something that, well, I can only use this today, and then by tomorrow my corn's going to be too big. I'm going to have to bring everything back and switch.
Let's keep in mind Status does have a crop safener in it, so it's much safer than what Banville used to be years ago without the crop safener.
That's
now,
fine.
I'm not saying I want to spray Status late. I want to spray Status early, and then if I'm going to spray late, and let's say I just have lamb's quarters or water hemp out there, I can go with Laudus or Callisto. That's fine. But early on, my choice usually is going to be Status, and we're only running a reduced rate with any of these products. If you're going to throw them with Roundup or Ignite, just throw a reduced rate in there, and you should have enough activity to get almost everything out there.
That's fine that you want to try to spray early, and I think that's important because you've got some drift issues still with Status. It's not perfect. It can move just a little bit depending on the weather conditions. I like Laudus and Callisto because they stay where they're put. That's That's one of the things that I like
Yep,
about them.
It can, but
as
you
soon
know
as
what?
those beans are up.
But you know what? Roundup can drift too. So I mean,
yes, it can.
Well,
yes, it
yeah,
absolutely
I mean, when you're
can.
next to a wheat field,
Well, like
you're next
today.
to,
Let's take today, for example. It's almost perfectly still.
Yep.
And you guys say, well, when is the best time to spray? Well, you would think when it's perfectly still, that's great. Nothing's going to move. The problem is you get air inversions when it's perfectly still. You'd prefer to have, just a very slight breeze, maybe just a few miles per hour.
Well, I don't know. Being perfectly still thing, and that's when you get air inversions. When you get air inversions, it's when it's early in the morning usually. Okay, so a lot of times it happens to be still then, but like right now, it's certainly not real early in the morning. We're not having an air inversion right now. Get out there and spray.
Well, with all the corn broadleaf choices, we do want to kill those weeds early in the season, so don't let things get out of hand. When you've got weeds that are up and they're just a couple inches tall, now's a great time to wipe them out, whether you use Status like Brian wants to do, or one of those whiteners, the Laudis, Callisto, Impact type products, like I prefer.
Well, all these products are pretty good broadleaf killers, but will they control our Weed of the Week? We'll tell you later in the show.